committing themselves to civil rights, the new government.
The battle has ended. Good morning.
1969.
This Mary Charter is not only a guide to those who lead our nation in government.
Notice, Lieutenant General Frederick Ekofo.
Public in an attempt to make scapegoats of Rawlings and his men.
For the first time in Ghana, a group of junior army officers had attempted to
country. After 3 months, they handed over to a civilian government under Hilal Liman.
I will set the appropriate examples myself.
B. Parliament is dissolved. C.
Error has come into being in this country. Supposed to be 24.
Of the free maternity care for our women. Late President knew those good job.
Okay. So welcome to United Cadets Front, the TV channel of the Cadets of Ghana. Today we have here on the show a veteran who has been with our tradition since the days of June 4 through revolution up to date. And he has a wealth of knowledge, and based on experience alone, he's capable of advising the government, the incoming NDC government, as to how to approach the current day crisis of youth unemployment, corruption, high cost of living, wanton stealing of state properties and state capture. Today we have here Comrade Bortey. Welcome, Comrade.
Thank you.
Yes, please give us a brief introduction of yourself.
The first place, by profession, I'm a journalist, but also participated in the noble cause of helping to build Ghana. That is, as a kid. I used to, those who remember, there used to be a paper called Workers' Banner around 1982. We belonged to the June 4th movement. I ran that paper, or I edited that paper. Apart from that, I acted as the General Secretary of the organization, that is June 4th movement, at the time the NDC was being formed. So if we talk about Congress, organizations that composed the Congress, the June 4 movement was one, and I was one of the representatives that met and formed the party. I remember very well the first press conference that was held, that cadets were going to form a party. I was the one who arranged that press conference together with Comrade Bortey. So we've gone through it a little bit. I said that I think that through my interaction with the cadets and the tutelage I had from senior comrades, I learned to like or love background role. I don't like too much of the headline, especially as a journalist who knows a little bit of mass communication. I don't usually run to the camera or to the microphone. So we've done a little bit.
Yes, thank you, Comrade. Today we have been through what I would call a hell and back. The National Democratic Congress, which you were part of in its formation, has taken the reins of power. We've lost power. We have assumed power, lost it again, and now we are back. But one thing, the crisis through which this country went and the purpose of the evolution of a revolution in the first place. That is corruption and the lack of care, people in power doing all that they like, disregarding the masses. We saw it being displayed in proportions that we've never seen before in the soon-to-end NPP government. Now we want you to tell us, from your experience, how would you liken the rule of NPP's Akufo-Addo to the state of crisis which we went through, which led to revolution and uprising in the first place? Because people have called the present wave of rejection of the NPP government as the people's civilian revolution.
Thank you very much. I think that they are not far from right, because precisely the things that triggered June 4th are the things that we've been through. Let me say that before Nana Akufo-Addo, the current president, came to power, the middle class had a certain vision. And most several people, when I talk to them, they say, if Nana were to get power today, if Nana comes, Ghana will change. If Nana comes. So there was so much hope. But they were disappointed, and the disappointment can be seen in the results of the elections. That people just talked. Things that they cannot fulfill, they were not thought through. Even the one that almost everybody is clinging onto, but there was free education and things, it was not thought through properly. For instance, you can go even in the elementary school, 3 months, 4 months, then where are you? They say you are being promoted to another class. It's never done that way. So it meant that there was something amiss. Food that the children were eating. It's not anything to write home about. Okay, it is free. When a child is being admitted into senior high school, the things you have to buy, including washing powder, whatever, brooms, and all that. To the extent that in the schools they say you must motivate the teacher. How do you motivate the teacher? It means that something is amiss. So all these things were the things that people went through. But most important thing is that the economy went waywire. In fact, it went out of the way because, and I was following the analysis of the IMF and World Bank, and they predicted when we were going to explode, that is, implode so far the economy is concerned. And they say, it is a temporary something. It is this that has caused it. Then people talk about COVID. It's COVID that has COVID affected only Ghana. I can understand. The war in Ukraine only affected Ghana. But in order to rationalize whatever the people were doing, they co-opted these ideas, thinking that we all swallow. What affects everybody affects nobody. That is the maxim. So that is where I am taking the what I want to tell my colleagues and comrades who are in power now is that if we don't do the right things from the word go, immediately the confidence in us will begin to dissipate. In other words, what I'm saying is that there are certain hanging fruits that we can pluck easily without even finance. I am talking about reformation of the institutions, state institutions, because the outgoing government captured the state. Everything from state organizations like Electoral Commission and all that, they were all captured. If you don't do the will of the people in power. I know somebody who was working, a top-ranked somebody working with the government, civil servant. And he was a candidate and was not disqualified. In other words, what should happen is that, or the ideal thing that should happen is that before, if you're a civil servant or public servant, before you go on to register as a candidate, you should leave your position so that you become neutral, because the organization you're working with is neutral. When I was with the NCC, I didn't have a party card. It is recently that I got one. Because I went somewhere and people said they don't remember me. I said, I must get a card so at least I can identify myself. But that is the situation. And so there's a lot of hope if you look at the way that the people voted. Even the neutrals, the people we call fence sitters, who do not, they vote according to, in fact, they decide who will win the votes, the election. All of them shifted to the side of the NDC because they had seen this thing too much, to the extent that even fundamental human rights were being violated. I saw an announcement by the police that those who go on social media and write something will now will record and deal with them, arrest them and deal with them. But the man is a Ghanaian, he's feeling the pinch. So that is how it is. You also remember that a few months after the NPP took over, anywhere you go to the markets, Mokola and some other places, the people were waving their they were basically telling the president-elect, that Mr. Mahama, we beg you, we didn't know that this thing would happen this way. In other words, the confidence that the people had in that administration, in the outgoing administration, as early as the first 4 years, they had lost that enthusiasm. So that is how it is. I think that, like I said, there are hanging fruits that can be dealt with. For instance, I said, the youth are looking forward to begin something now. Let's organize them, whether the National Youth Organization, something, or the National Service, and let them push to the areas where galamsey is taking place. Let's have straight supervision from some well-trained youth groups. We can get some from the military or the police or whatever. Let them go and supervise them so that the watchman does not become the thief. So that we can engage a lot of youths in their thousands. Because the work to be done is plenty, is huge. The other thing that can also be done is, like I said, we must begin reforming all the state institutions, because 99% of them are not neutral. You can see from what is happening, the aftermath of even the collation of the resource, what is happening can tell you that things are not well. And the same thing, you remember when the outgoing president said that he will apply the Anas philosophy. In other words, he will engage the tactics of Anas in investigating. But somewhere along the way, that one was even trapped midway. Anas couldn't even get a chance to operate. And later, I think that since for the last 8 years, he has had only 1 or 2 exposés. But the temperature in the country and the maneuvering in the political maneuvers did not allow him to carry out those things. But you see, if you stamp you put your foot down and you confront corruption directly, it's not that people I mean, people will not leave you or shun your company. The ordinary people, the majority of the people would rather cling to you as somebody, a principled for person. If you look at June 4th, if Jerry had not come and confront corruption, bribery, nepotism, this is frontally, there was no way he was going to be as popular as he became till today. If we wake him up and we stood him on an election platform, he will win, whoever comes. So that is the way it should go. The more you work in the interest of the majority of the people, the more popular you become. So I tell or I advise the incoming government, if they don't confront the problem the way people want it confronted, if they don't take care, punishment, which has begun through the voting, the results of the voting, that should be meted out by the other people to the outgoing government, will be turned to them. Today, as I tell you, throughout the Nana Akufo-Addo time, the reason why people were not interested in coup d'etat is not because there are no adventurers anymore, but Ghana was simply non-attractive to even the coup maker. So that is the level that we went. So we must begin to look at where it can be done. Those are the things I call the hanging fruits. So that before it becomes very complicated issues into other things, the people at least have had what they want. If not all, at least they have the confidence that these people can do their work. These people can. And let me also say that failure to do that will encourage other people to come and occupy the space that you are living. Because if you don't act, you are leaving a space for some people to act. That is what I want to say about that.
Yes, thank you very much. Maybe we have to advise also people and their expectation in the light of the background of the NDC. Here, I would like to compare and maybe ask the government to contrast the difference between this present government and the government of President Professor Mills, because there was similar levels of corruption, maybe even lesser. And people cried out, and people were angry, and a lot of things were going on. He promised to go ahead and investigate this and do this, only to come to power to say Father for all. That was one huge mistake that NDC is being blamed for. And that is what, from sources, if you analyze, has given the license to the Akufo-Addo NPP government to mess up the country the way they do, because they believe the NDC people will not do anything because of the Father for all. Now, what would you advise that they should do in comparison with this Father for all that we came to do, which blinded and plunged this country into this mess?
Thank you very much. I think that this blame on Professor Mills, the Father for all statement and all those, yes, they were genuine. But if you observe the political terrain then critically, Professor Mills was forced into making that statement. Because how many cases did he send to the courts? He never won one. To the extent that, remember, Constitutional Review Committee, which was established, and I think Madam Jean Mensah was a member of that commission. They came out with several things that might be, but again, the law used to tighten what had been done, and it flows out. Today I have a copy in my library, and it is there. It has not been carried out. But yet, going forward, we started saying the constitution needs to be changed. We need to change the constitution, we need to amend the constitution, all those things. So he was forced into that corner. Fortunately, nature has a way of giving you strong neck, empowering you when it gives you a heavy load. In those days, during the time of Professor Mills, anything must go through the parliament, and the two-third majority must be attained before you could even move forward. Today, it is different. Today, it is akin to 1993 first parliament, when the MPP, after the presidential, that arrangement, presidential first before the parliamentary. And the way they found things going, they boycotted it. So virtually everybody in the parliament was an NDC member. That was how it was one party rule. It is practically where we are again. So we will be blamed more, or John Mahama's regime will be blamed more if we cannot take advantage of the majority that we have in parliament. It must be done. This one is nature presented you with a lot of honey. Come and drink and go. That is what we have. I'm not saying that the illegalities must be applied. We should go by the constitution, so that anything that we find unwanted, people that are trying to put impediments in the way of the government. That is why I talk about reformation of the institutions. The judiciary, from another time I will talk about it. It's not that we are figuring it out, but they had been proved before. It is the same. So all those in that sector that will give the government problems, they should apply the right medicine judiciary and make sure that those things, legally, then those people might be eliminated from the system. I'm saying that dismiss them. If somebody has to be taken somewhere to go and undertake, devoted or something, let's do these things, because those who, or the old men say that if you fear the eyes, you can't slaughter anybody. So we should not go there. Just close your eyes, because look at what happened to some of our people. Professor Chatu Chikata was imprisoned by somebody. Selomi, the former finance minister, he died in prison, and some others. The last election, 2020, 8 people died. Today, we have not heard anything about it. Whose children, if they were your children, your brother, your sister, your relatives? I was West Wogon, those skirmishes of our by-election. I saw some soldiers. I saw some leaders. In the former days, they would have been sent, if you want to recruit them, they would have been sent to what they call boys' company. Today, if you saw them as if they were now going to enter JSS, we should make a complete rehab. Take pen and paper, go through all those processes, and ensure that those who do not belong there are eliminated from the place. In fact, it will be suicidal if we don't carry out reformation in all the state institutions. There's none that we must leave to survive the current with the same staff. No.
Yes, but okay. Thanks for that. And I want you to also make a comparison between another example the time we came in 2009 under President Mills and the present wave of anger which we have to deal with. Professor Kwame Nkrumah stated that they prepared 100 dockets, and he personally wanted to sit with President Mills to discuss it. That these are convictions, they already have all the crimes and everything. And Professor Mills, they said he was speaking in front of the You see now, that's what he said. And that was the first batch. And amid the claims and allegations that people from all quarters, all manner of quarters, were approaching President Mills that he should go easy and be patient and gentle and all that, after he has promised to deal and go directly and tackle corruption head on. You see, so this was, according to Professor Ahoy, it was a deliberate decision on the part of the president not to go ahead with cases that already had incriminating evidence. And that was the first batch, so that others would have followed. You see, and this came, as you recall, on the back of the wave of anger that was in the country. And this current wave is even more serious than the 2009 wave. Because now we know that hordes of the youth, it could be hundreds of thousands of youth, because they are jobless, hungry, and frustrated, they compose the majority that voted for NDC, who were even jumping all over the place, even though they were not NDC members. So if you don't do anything for these people to see you are carrying out justice, along with your provision of jobs, what do you think will be the consequences?
I think that as for the consequences, we have been, since we started this discussion, we have been talking about them. But I want to go to where you refer to Professor Kwame Nkrumah's assertion. Look, most people take it for granted that all big men they see, lawyers, this, that, they are neutral in this political game. No. There's no neutral person. Was it is it Power something? The president-elect, is it Cassie or something? Joyce Bauer or something?
Joyce Bauer.
Who was made a deputy minister. Then they all started shouting. Family and friends, government. They started shouting. Everybody, including all the bishops that you can think of in Ghana. Somebody came, his whole family, about 60 or more. This mother's, this person's mother, this person's nephew, all those people. Did you hear anybody cough? No. I'm telling you that most of them are part of the NPP. You may not see him hold the card, but his behavior tells you that. Today, we have a cathedral that has never been off the ground. Who are the people who are the directors of that cathedral? Who are those? They are all people you regard as big men. And so when we are making the analysis that way, we make a mistake of thinking that they are not hypocrites, they are showing their real color. They are members of the party. During the time of Professor Mills, the National Peace Council, very well composed, and they were very effective. The one which is going to end its term very soon, nothing. They saw nothing wrong with all the, and sometimes, I remember one time when they were saying that there must be peace accord signed by presidential candidates. I think President John Mahama or a spokesperson said that they won't sign until. Look at how they jumped onto that thing. Because they are members of that party. They see us as veranda boys and girls. They see us as, and we don't have property. But as for them, they have property. It was only when during the last IMF and the haircut that you find some of them coming out to come and demonstrate against the system because it affected their pockets directly. This is the thing that we should keep in mind. Look, Jerry said in 2016 at Cape Coast that we are from different backgrounds. We are from different backgrounds. And so we cannot imitate them. You get the point? They have lost and lots of people. They have their experience from pre-independence till today. I know 2 or 3 people whose parents started as CPP and yet went and joined them because of their profession.
Yes, well, what I want to bring out is the fact that there was, as I said, according to Professor Kwame Ahoy, in his own pronouncement, verbal pronouncement, said there was a deliberate decision, willfully made it by President Mills at that time, that he spoke in front of you, told him, Minye. When they, who knew all that, similar to what has been gathered today, have all the evidence of the criminal activities that have been done, and then people, the NDC people have gone ahead to present dockets for it to be done. Because even President Kufuor judged people in fast-track courts, claiming to be dealing with corruption. Now we have also come with no worse corruption. Prepare the dockets, the cases, and then he said no, he won't do it. And what I'm saying is, many people have blamed the NDC, firstly for not, among other things, for not protecting their vote, because they claim they vote for NDC, and yet the NDC could not protect the votes, and they gave away the victory. The same way many people are blaming the NDC. You came, there was this corruption, you have to go forthrightly and deal with it. You refuse to do it. And if you fail to do it this time, maybe if the people come to lynch, they will lynch you first. You see, that's why I'm comparing this situation to that of President Mills. Because there was clear cases, criminal cases, deal with it. And according to Professor Kwame, as I keep on claiming, he said, Minye.
Yes.
You see, so now is the time of President John Mahama and other leaders who have seen the previous one. We've seen the wave of anger. We've seen worse things. What would you advise? Forthright, merciless justice, or what political expediency?
The point is that if we are going to do it, this is the heat, under the heat of the moment, this is the time that we should do it. Because with time, a lot of things may change. So we must do it, like we have said, if it is not attacked today, now, few weeks or few months into the takeover, we should, not that we don't have the men, we have the men. The Kwame boys are still there. The Chatus are still there. In fact, we have got more younger ones who can help operationalize what you are talking about. But you see, at the time, look, the greatest classroom is life. Because you think that the way we are chatting, you are a human being, I'm a human being. If I have love for something, or I am considering you, I'm empathizing with you in certain things, and instead of doing A, I go and do B, you take me for a fool. Professor had a clean heart. He felt that some of these people, I know them, and what they have seen, and they will change. But you see, those kind of people, they won't change today, they won't change tomorrow. Their great-grandfathers and their grandfathers barely had Nkrumah been inaugurated as the Prime Minister of Ghana. He did start plotting coup d'etat. You get the point? Even as at today, they even doubt. They will argue if Nkrumah wasn't the founder of Ghana. But they know that their grandfathers and their fathers didn't do a thing. When Nkrumah was conducting plebiscite for a republic, they voted no. Today, they are enjoying the same thing. So I'm saying that Professor probably thought that we were dealing with kind people just like he is or he was. But these people, no. That's what they power. And they like practicing hard power. Prof was the soft type. He will apply small. He will go and shout at Gapoa and those places that Temaport that you are doing this instead of doing this, and then he will go and relax. The other aspect too is that if you go to the very foundation of the NDC, you find out that some die-hard NPP people, for that matter, it's they call the NLM or Matimingu or something people, were recruited because of the nature of NDC. Those who formed the party thought that if the cadres went alone, they won't win. So they were recruited into the party. So there were similar people in the party. They might have gone to talk to Prof and all this. As we talk, some of those people are still inside NDC.
Yeah, that makes it more important.
That the thing should be carried out.
Yeah, so we must fire the...
Yes, we have read the first lesson.
Fire the bullet direct to the one in charge.
Yes.
That John Mahama has claimed that he has prosecuted his own minister.
Yes.
And so far, he's the only one who's done that so far. Now, this is the time that the wave of anger is blowing and blowing hard. If you fail to deal with these criminal activities, the wave can blow over you and knock you down.
In fact, it will blow you away.
Yes, so we must directly talk to, I want you to directly speak to the executive, the president-elect, incoming president, that this time it is a hammer and axe that we must use.
I agree with you. It is a fact. And again, I must say that with my conviction and what I have seen, if we do anything less, people will begin losing confidence in us. If we do anything less than what we are saying, people want to see people Gani being punished. If we have to expand Nsawam from here to Kitekrachi, let's expand it and put the people there. When you go and spend 2-3 weeks, when you come back, you come to learn. But at the same time, as we are saying this, the incoming members of the incoming executive should not think that they have invested in the party and the party has won. And so they are coming to reap the dividends of their investment. Because it is the same thing that other people have done. And we are condemning today. If the state is okay, your business will be okay. If the state is okay, everybody will be okay. So if you rush and you want this, you want that, yes, if you are in the highlights, fine, front line, fine. But what I'm saying, or what I want to say is that as we are crying that some people should be prosecuted and should be punished and all that, the incoming people should not give people cause to begin complaining from the word go. The way they behave, the cars they drive, and all that. I'm telling you, today as we sit, Ghana as a state has no property. They've got to the point where state house, you know, if you go to the state house, the back of the state house, the structures there for workers, they have sold all of them and taken them as their property. They were even going to sell the story building floor by floor. That is what they were planning to do. So Ghanaians were lucky that we have had some saved. Who was Sagnemi sold to? A cousin of the president. What will you state money to do? To construct. So I agree with you. There must be how would the children say it? No mercy for who?
No mercy for the cripple.
The person knows he's a cripple, but his brain works. And he intentionally did this to us. It's unpardonable. If we don't do it, it will take us a long time, because some of us, where we are, it is not time for us to go. But we'll force, if we do the same thing, we'll force so that the next one, if we are lucky and we are alive and it gets to that stage, we won't permit anybody to go and deal with us that way. In other words, I'm emphasizing the same point. We should do it and begin to do it now. If the judiciary is not favorable, we should make the necessary reforms. There are ways to do it. Our legal brains know how to do it. Anybody within that he or she will put spokes in our wheel. Let's get the person out of the way, because the people cannot wait on one person to halt the forward march of a whole country. We are here to do business. And if we perform very well or as expected, as for us, we won't break it, because we don't want to break it. It's a taboo. So that is what I am saying. I join you in this clarion call that let us do the right thing now.
Yes. Recover all the money. Is there a new kind of crime? Because they say there are blue collar crime, white collar crime, but this one, what kind of crime would you call it? Is that the color? This one is it black color or? Because you claim you ride on the peoples, you deceive the people into power, and then hijack the people's power, use the people's power to rob the people and their property, which is the state public property. What kind of crime is that?
This one, I think the Italian type of mafioso. Italian type, because it is a small group of people who have done all this and then opened the way for others. I learned if you go to the ministries, even secretaries to ministers drive V8.
Well, personally, I don't blame them. I blame Father for all. Yes, because if they believe strongly that nobody will do anything, and look at this. Well, we have to continue this thing, but I believe we have sounded a strong enough clarion call to the incoming president, John Mahama, so that we are expecting action. He has given us how many days? 120 days to do some acts, and we want him to hit the ground running. We don't want any kind of diplomacy, because so much damage has been done. The anger is at the levels that must be properly brought down by action. If they see you doing action, the anger will go down. They will start calming down. But if you go and do any diplomacy thing, I'm afraid the anger will turn against us. Now let me ask you this question. Somebody at the time that Sri Lanka, the government state broke down, and the people were in the street, the entire country was in the streets. It happened also in Lebanon. The government structure broke down because of the very things you were experiencing here. High inflation, everything was rising out of hand. Somebody who was a Ghanaian and an analyst said he expected, they were also in Asia, and he expected the same thing to happen in Ghana, because the same thing that was happening in those countries that led to the upheavals and uprisings was the very things that were happening in Ghana. You go back and forth, and prices just haywire, everything going haywire. But they said it was religion that kept us low. So in this case, the people have not exploded in their anger because they say religion, plus they were waiting for the time to vote. Now we are in power. It could be that if we fail to clamp down, tackle this thing head on, the explosion will happen against us.
Yes, I agree with you, and I think that we have also touched a little bit on it. See, it wasn't religion. I do not agree. Religion may be a factor. You see, the economy the economy had reached a stage, had not reached a stage where man bites man. Are you getting the point I'm saying? Because in the society, the final determinant is the economy. If the economy is not holding, nothing will work. But we have a system in which I go and buy that at that time, some time ago in September, we were calling it kalabule. Because you go and buy and you put on any price and people buy. So we have not gotten to a point where kalabule type of situation has arisen. But everybody gets somebody to cheat more and survive. So there were loopholes. But if we got to a point where there were no loopholes, we found that it was not religion. The people were not hungry enough. I tell people that where you find people fighting and this, it is not because God created it differently. It is because the contradiction in the system has not gotten to a point where we have all been reduced to survival. Where people will go and search for things in the trash can and all those things. We have not gotten to that point. But still it is good. Now, at the time that Sri Lanka and Lebanon broke down, it was predicted that in 3 months' time, Ghana will break down. And Ghana broke down. That is the reason why people quickly ran to the IMF for savior. So that is how it is. But you see, I cannot. You seem to be coming to the end, or we seem to be coming to the end of the interview. I cannot talk enough about, or at least touch into one particular institution, which I think that as early as possible, the people there should be investigated and dealt with. And I'm talking about the National Electoral Commission. Never in the history from 1992, when we started voting, have you seen voting materials everywhere? Everywhere. After 1 week, you cannot get the final result. How? Those people there who were playing referee and player at the same time, we should get rid of all of them. The institution must be neutral. The institution must be neutral. This the worst elections I've observed. I heard the madam saying that this is the best, this is the worst. Let her understand. And she's lucky that people like us are not close, because we will make sure that she's dealt with as early as possible. If we wait for her to do another election, we will fight.
The job is cut out clearly for John Mahama and his administration. Action and immediate, forthright, forceful, severe action is what we are asking for. If we don't do it, we might end up getting the backlash, and that will rather explode in our faces. So thank you, Senior Keda, for chatting with us. There is a lot more to discuss, a lot more to learn, and so we shall soon be back to have you give us more insight into some other areas of government which we seem to have missed out, which we had clearly under control under PNDC, and for which reason the country didn't go out of way. People were suffering all over. We will come back to ask for such insights. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Senior Keda Eric Bortey. He has been a Keda since the days of the 70s to date. We're talking close to 50 years or more. Now we have hit the road running. In our discussion, and we expect our government to also hit the road running and deal with the evils that have been done in our country, so that we come back and get a good account of our own government, the NDC government. Thank you, Comrade, for being and talking to United Cadres Front TV. We shall soon be back for more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Committing themselves to civil rights, the new government.
At long last, the battle has ended.
Good morning.
1969.
This Mary Charter is not only a guide to those who lead our nation in government.
On notice, Lieutenant General Frederick Ekufu.
Public in an attempt to make scapegoats of Rawlings and his men.
For the first time in Ghana, a group of junior army officers had attempted to
Country. After 3 months, they handed over to a civilian government under Hilal
I will set the appropriate examples myself.
From us. C. Parliament is dissolved. C.
Error has come into being in this country. Supposed to be 24.
Of the free maternity care for our women. Late President